Alright, g'day fellas, this is Jimbom here. This is my collection so far of old World War II military rifles. On the top here we have the 303, in the centre we have the K98, and at the bottom we have the Type 38 Arisaka. Now as you can see here, the Arisaka is by far the longest of these rifles by a sizable bit. Funnily enough though, it actually weighs the least out of all of them. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move them up one by one to give you a bit of a closer look and give you a bit of a spiel about each of these particular rifles. Okie dokie, first up here for a bit of a close-up look we have the Lithgow 1941 short magazined Lee Enfield rifle number 1 Mk.III Star. This is an Australian made rifle, as most of you should be able to gather from the fact that it was made up in Lithgow near Sydney. As you can see, the woodwork's all in very good condition. It's a bit of a shame about some of the metalwork. You can actually, it shouldn't be shiny like that, it should be a dark blue colour like the handle of the bolt up here, but yet to get around to fixing that up. Next up here we have the Mauser K98 Kurz, or short, and this was the rifle of the Wehrmacht, or the German army during the Second World War. It's more or less the same as the German Gewehr 98 from the First World War, except that it was shortened slightly and basically made easier to mass produce, and also the bolt handle here was turned down to facilitate ease of use. Now this rifle I found has an interesting feature that it was bought by the Israeli army after the Second World War and rebarreled for 7.62 by 5.1 NATO, or more commonly known as 308 Winchester. As you can see, the stock here has taken a fair bit of its fair share of dings and knocks over the years, but fairly certain I should be able to work most of those out with a bit of TLC. And lastly here we have the Nagoya Arsenal Arisaka Type 38 long rifle. This particular design of rifle was brought out in approximately 1905-1906, just after the Russo-Japanese War, which the Japanese won after sinking the Russian Baltic fleet off the Tsushima Straits. And as you can see, this rifle was probably built, I only say probably because the Japanese don't actually date stamp their weapons, unlike the 303 and the Mauser, which I forgot to mention was made in 1943. And from what I can find out from the markings that have been on it, this rifle was made somewhere between 1935 and 1940, which means it pretty much almost definitely served at some point in time during the Second World War. Okay, next we're going to show you a bit of a comparison about how the actions on the three different rifles work. This is the ever lovely Firecat, here to help. Alright, first up we have the Type 38 Arisaka, which as you can see is not exactly short. Now, thanks demo, if we pick up the rifle here, I'll show you the Imperial Chrysanthemum, which is the flower up the top there, which is the mark of the Japanese Emperor.
Would you believe? And
then underneath here is written Type 38 in Japanese. Now this particular rifle is a straight bolt rifle, as a lot of the rifles were at the turn of last century, and Firecat here for us is going to show us how the action cycles.
Wait.
Yeah, no, it's not cocked. Push down the magazine flower. Come on, Muppet arm.
Shut up.
Push it down, then slide the bolt forward.
How far?
Alright, the Arisaka's action is modelled off the Mauser action, except it has a slight different feature. Is the fact that it's like the 303 Lee Enfield action, it actually cocks on closing as opposed to cocking on opening. Thanks demo. Okie dokie, this is my Mauser K98. As you can see here, it has 43 stamped on the receiver, and the Arsenal made. This 7.62 was put on later by the Israelis, so that in case they Forgot which calibre of ammunition they were using, the silly buggers. Anyway, this here is the bolt, and this piece right at the back here is the cocking piece. Now watch, as I pull the bolt handle up, it forces that piece back outwards, which means the bolt has been cocked. When I pull the trigger, it snaps forward, bringing the firing pin forwards. Now, watch how difficult it is actually to do this rather quickly. And last up we have the 303. As you can see here, bolt handle, and this here is the cocking piece. Open it up, doesn't do anything, pull it rearwards, but watch as I push it forward, that's when the firing pin spring is tensioned, and all I need to then do is lock it down before I fire. Now this particular feature on the Enfield Action means it's possible to do what the British call volley firing, which is, I'm not 100% perfect at it, but something similar to this, where they grasp the bolt with their thumb and index finger and actually shoot with their middle finger. And that's pretty much why the 303 can cycle rounds a lot faster than the Mauser can, because the bolt is a lot easier to manipulate at speed. Anyway fellas, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation of mine, and I'll catch you on the Forgotten Honor forums. See ya.